All right, and Andrew Wood joins us with more from Hong Kong. Andrew, good morning. Can you provide details on the suspected short-range ballistic missile, Andrew, launched by North Korea into the Sea of Japan?
Well, yes, as you say, it fell into the sea. It's reckoned only about, it flew about 600 kilometers. But since that short-term ballistic missile was launched, the Koreans, South Koreans and the Japanese say another missile, a longer-range ballistic missile, has also been launched, and that fell into well, it got as high as about 6,000 kilometers, and then it fell into the sea off the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido. So that's two back-to-back tests within 12 hours. Certainly, North Korea seems to be trying to send a message that it's still in the game of launching missiles. Remember, only like a month or two ago, it launched its first satellite successfully into space. So this is definitely a sign that North Korea is trying to keep its foes on their toes.
Okay, Andrew. Now, in what ways does this missile launch defy the existing UN Security Council bans, and what repercussions could it have?
Well, there's lots of UN Security Council resolutions and UN general resolutions covering North Korea and its development of both missiles, a space program, and nuclear weapons as well. And they basically forbid it. But so far, this doesn't seem to have deterred the North Koreans. The North Koreans just carry on as usual. The North Koreans say that as a sovereign country, they have a right to a space program. They have a right to develop their own missiles. They have the right to develop their own nuclear missiles to defend themselves. And it's also, remember that Moscow, or rather Russia, is a member of the United Nations Security Council. It's supported some of these measures against North Korea, and yet North Korea and Russia are doing business. North Korea is supplying missiles or supplying ammunition to Russia to use in Ukraine, and Russia is supplying information about it's suspected about missiles and space programs and through to the North Koreans. So if you've got a UN Security Council member basically prepared to ignore these UN Security Council resolutions that it itself has supported, then North Korea doesn't really have an awful lot to deter it from doing so.
All right. Are there any specific concerns, Andrew, raised by South Korea's military regarding this latest missile launch by North Korea?
No, I think that the worry is that the more North Korea does it, the more North Korea will do it. In a way, South Korea is, the South Korean military is well used to being in the target, in the crosshairs of North Korea, because even Seoul, the capital, is only about 40-50 kilometers from the border with North Korea, and there are plenty of artillery is reckoned to be trained on Seoul like this. If anything, I think that although they wouldn't probably want to admit to it in public, the South Korean military are, not happy, but certainly the more North Korea threatens the rest of the world, the more North Korea is taken seriously as a threat, and so therefore there's more likely to be sympathy for the South Korean position. Don't forget, the Americans have sent a nuclear-powered submarine that arrived in the South Korean port at the weekend. So there's a sign that its allies, its main ally, America, is prepared to stand with South Korea.
All right, on that note, thank you so much, Andrew Wood, for joining in.